Okay, dear ones, I hope you're having a wonderful Sunday, just as I am. And I know I won't be recording anything on Memorial's Day, so preceding Happy Memorial's Day. It has been a pleasure to get on today and to talk about, again, awareness and being awakened by truth. You know, that is vital. Truth, honesty, loyalty, integrity. That is the ultimate type of character that you could have, outside of having genuine love in your heart. You know, many people will probably laugh at me, and I don't care, because rarely do you find moral television shows. Okay? And when I say that, I mean family. True family. Family with morals. Love. Teaching their children how to work and earn. And being an example. Showing love among the mother and father. And I'm not saying it's been, even in those type of TV shows, they didn't have ups and downs. They did. But with the morals, the upstanding loyalty, their character, their heart, their genuine heart, things were worked out. Now, I say that when I'm talking about a television show. Now, what I look at mostly is Little House on the Prairie. I get so much teaching from that show. In all scenarios of life. That Michael Landon, I tell you what. He was a I don't know whether or not he produced even Highway to Heaven. But that Little House on the Prairie and Highway to Heaven, real life scenarios, people, I'm telling you, through the screen you can feel the spirit, the genuineness, the examples that are today, of today. We don't see that. We don't. And for those that don't want to display that, it's because of the Matrix. But nobody else is doing that, so why should I do it? Let me be puppetized and do what everybody else does, because the Matrix is the puppeteer. No one stands for who they are. And just like I said in my previous downloads, and it's not about me, it's just the fact of we don't even know who we are. Look at what society is doing. Look at the social media. Now, I'm not saying it doesn't have its good points, yes. But for the most part, everybody's trying to be like everybody else. Why? I can answer that. Majority of the time, because they only know who they are. So they want to emulate somebody else. And then when that fails, they'll try to emulate somebody else. When are we going to wake up? When are we going to be awakened of truth and who we are? When are we going to look inside ourselves and ask, what is my purpose here? What are my gifts, my gifts. Not somebody else's gifts, but mine. What is it? What are they? And believe me, we have multiple. And you know that what's so sad though? People can see your gifts. And you flow in your gifts. When it's yours, it comes natural. Why? Because it's your gift that you were created to do. But then someone else, envy, jealous, say, I can do it better. Or, let me do that. Instead of, again, looking inside themselves or searching inside themselves and seeing what your gifts are. What's going on? That's where the issues of life flows. Trueness. People. You know, being a people pleaser doesn't get you anywhere. Trying to be validated by others, same thing. Same thing. Where does it get you? I'm going to tell you where it got me. Nowhere. Nowhere. But until I went inside, meaning in here, to search. Why? Well, there's a reason. I looked for the root. And my root was my upbringing. I wanted love from my grandmother. Never got it. So I did everything I could to please that woman. For her to love me. To get a hug. But instead, I got shafted. I got blamed. I got abused. You know? And I never understood why. Now, with that being said, no father in my life. My mother died when she was 19, and it was all a lie. Because I didn't even know my mother died until I was 11. Yeah. And how I found that out was through my grandmother, who I found out that's who she was a friend of hers who thought we knew. So when they start talking, I'm like, just in conversation, well, your mother this, and you know, it was a shame that she died, or this and that, and all that. And I'm looking at her like, what? Okay. Then you talking about that we go on. Then we hear, me and my sister here, she dies of an abortion. Where she bled to death. It was too late when I got to the hospital. Yeah, things such as that. So we, all in one night, mind you. So, and it's still some things that I don't know. I don't know. I don't even know my dad. I don't know any of that. But what I was told, you know, was that she wouldn't give my father any type of rights. He wanted to share rights because he was a young man, because he knew he could not handle 2 children at his young age. My mother died when she was 19, and from what I was told, he was 19 or 20. Okay? But she refused. And guess why? She wanted full custody, yeah, so that she can get the benefits. Well, that kept my dad from being a dad to us. You know, so now check it out. I'm finding all this out at the age of 11. Yeah, all of that. And as time go on, because I am the book. So you'll be seeing the book. And you'll be hearing the book. The live book. Now those are lies. All were lies. And so because I was inquisitive, I'd ask questions. Well, you know what happens with that with a narcissist. You ask questions. I was already a black sheep. I don't know whether I looked like my dad or whatever. But I was always getting the brunt of everything. Abused, cussed out, you name it. That was one either. You ain't gonna be nothing. I should have flushed you down the toilet. All kind of stuff. Stuff like that. This the stuff we talking about. See, and this the stuff that is not shared among people because people go around with masks on. I don't have a mask. What you see is what you get. And I'm going to remain that way. Honest and true. Regardless. Because I know what it's like to be lied to. And I know the feeling, how that hurts you to the core of your heart. See, you won't see nothing slipping because there is no mask. When I tell you about compassion and love and being a giver, it's trueness. Why? Because it was never given to me. And I know the Most High placed it there. Because the things that I'm going to share with you along the way, nobody, and I mean nobody, will ever get the credit for what you see in me. And there's no emulating this. You can't. Because it don't even come from me. It comes from the Most High. He knew it was going to happen. It is what it is. But still, I had choices to make during my journey. I had choices. Not excuses. I had choices. Now, we all make excuses to act in the same way we came from. But that's an excuse. And it's a choice. So you still have to be accountable for that choice. Period. You know, this is going to be a part 2 to this. With the Little House on the Prairie. And I say that simply because I can't really sum all of it up in this one download. But I can say genuine love, loyalty, dedication, it's a rarity. Used to, when someone said something and said that they would say, they would do what what they promise you, they were a man or woman of their word. But now, it's like it doesn't even bother them if they don't keep their word. Used to, your word was your bond. What happened? What? No longer, are we holding each other accountable. And you see, and it's not even about gender based. What's going on? And then we wonder why our siblings act the way they do. A feeling of entitlement. We don't want to see our children go through what we went through. And what I'm talking about is work. earning. Now, because I worked. Ever since I was 13, I worked. So I know what I'm talking about. Even in all of what I subdued, I still learned, people. You know? I learned. I learned how to work hard for what I wanted. I learned not to give up. I learned to put my best foot forward in the capabilities of what I could do. I learned the word can and took out the word can't. That was a choice of mine. That was a choice of mine. I pondered, and at the time, as being a child, I didn't understand why my mother died at an early age. I didn't know about God like that. But I still ask the question, why did you take my mom? Well, what? And I cried, not even knowing, that's the thing, not even knowing who she was. But just the fact of being told she was my mom. And I can only imagine what she went through. My grandmother, her mom, if my mom went through the same stuff, or no, it had to be worse. It had to be worse. When my grandmother told me I should have flushed you down the toilet, all because I wasn't belligerent and you know, loud and just abrupt. I was a happy child, loving child, cared for everyone. I was a loner then, and I'm a loner now, and very happy with it. But you know, in me researching who I am within, I had to learn to forgive. I wanted to learn to forgive my grandmother, because that helps me in my journey, in my quest. I'm excited for my quest. I'm excited that I can see now, that the scales are taken off of my eyes, that I have been awakened, that I am no longer part of the matrix. And really, I don't care what people say, how they feel. It doesn't really even matter. Now, be you. You can only be you. You can only be you. And I've come to the place where people are going to be people in their hearts. What they're going to do is just show you their hearts. They show you their hearts through their actions. Their backbiting, the lying, you know, on you. Like I said, as a child, I went through. As a teenager, a junior, I went through. In college, same, hey, marriage, all that, relationships, all that. Same thing. But what I didn't come to realize was that I was broken. And who you are is what you attract. And that's what I attract. I attract broken relationships, abusive, liars, cheaters, non-reciprocators, non-givers, all takers. Nothing genuine. Breadcrumbers. Narcissistic traits. Well, see, I had a narcissistic grandma. But I thank the Most High that I studied it because I researched what was going on. So I saw the traits by searching. And in my bringing up my children, there were some similarities, the perfectioning and things such as that, and the yelling. No, you got to get this. No, that's not right. You need to do it this way. This and that type. It wasn't to the extreme where I was called I cursed my children. You MF this, you SOB this and that and all other stuff. You stand there for a whole day because I didn't put the crease together like you wanted it, but how it's supposed to be. But you got a kick. My grandmother got a kick out of this. Me standing there the whole day. This ain't right. It's not right. When I used to wet the bed, beat my butt, that was my fault. So I'm petrified. So you traumas. Oh, I can go on. I can go on, and I will. There'll be certain things. Y'all are here. But, I say all that. Like I told you, I told you from the beginning that I forgive. But it doesn't nullify the fact that it happened. See, and that's the thing. You have to be awakened by the truth and accept the truth. Now, what you do with the truth is up to you. You have a choice. You have a choice. You know that man was cheating on you. I knew the man, my husband was cheating on me all the time. He just, what? Wouldn't call him at the hotel. And how many times you're lying? You're sleeping with my sister? Come on now. You sleep with anybody. It didn't matter. Right there and playing in my face for years. Women coming up to the house, scratching my car. The constable bringing court orders for my ex to come to go to court for money that they gave him, $4,000 and $5,000. Fools. And I'm sitting in the courtroom. And I'll never forget. I went, y'all sure did, and she did too. I sat right there. And then got up there and told the judge, no, she was going with my husband, they were going together. And this is what took place. And this should be thrown out of court. But the money was ours. Oh yeah, all of that. I can go on. I had one grandmother say to me, because the girl he was messing with was way underage. He in his 30s and she 18. What the hell? So I called the grandmother, and then what? Well, honey, if they don't want you, they don't want you. What kind of mess is that to say? Old as you are. That girl, 18 years old, he 35. What? Underage. That's the kind of mess. Even when you go and you confront. Look at this. Yeah. My ex-husband, yes. And that ain't, I mean, come on now. A narcissist will sleep with a dog. Believe that. They'll sleep with your sister, your mother, your brother. They don't care. Believe that. And look at you and say, you're crazy. You're insecure. You're too sensitive. Do what now? No. When you suspect it, it is. I shouldn't have stayed. And I married him twice, y'all. Please don't do that. If he cheat on you first, he will continue to cheat. Especially if you stay. You might well forget that. And vice versa. It ain't just the men, women too. Men and women, the spirit of lust, Jezebels, Delilahs, is passed on to generation to generation. We don't want to talk about that though. We don't want to talk about the husbands and the wives that have boyfriends. Children know about it. Outside children. They, whatever, all that. They went along with that. So then their children will get along, do the same thing. It's passed on until someone breaks that cycle and say no longer, this will not be me. You got fathers sleeping with daughters and daughters sleeping, mothers sleeping with sons. Now, it's been going on. Come on, people. Let's be real. Let's be real. When are you going to stop it? Because it's going on in your family. Don't tell me you don't know something about it. Because if you're saying it ain't happening, it's happened sometime or another. Especially that lust. Don't come here with that. Now we're doing the BBLs. Why are we doing the BBLs, women? To do what? To look at yourself? No, you ain't. It's a form of enticement. For what? For you to get hurt? They don't care. They get it and quit it. They go to the next. Look how many women doing this stuff. And you think you're gonna change? That ain't gonna, it ain't about to happen. Wake up. Wake up. It's an ego. Prideful. On both sides. It's not no one gender. No. It's both sides. But we don't want to talk about that. Why? We don't want to talk about when the Most High brings someone in your life to help you in situations and you just suddenly forget. You haven't always been where you are. And you've had help. But you so easily forget the help that you got. And then you turn on that individual. See, I remember some times where I was set up on a job plenty of times. Lied on. Just because I was doing my job. And if I didn't know how to do it, I sought how to do it. I went, asked, learned, and did it. People will actually set me up to get me fired. Gather that. But I know none of that's happened to y'all. Mm-mm. But you know what? I'm talking about those that you would never even think. Someone told me, and they weren't even in my interview, it's about, well, you said that you knew how to do Excel. And they weren't even in the interview. So what that mean? I'm in there to get trained. You don't train me. And it's like, okay, a report comes. I'm like, wait, what? Sabotage. That's what you call sabotage. But you know what? Because of my heart being pure and me doing for others out of purity of heart, he had a ram in the bush. He had someone to help me. It was set up. And this has been going on throughout my life. But you know what? That hasn't and won't stop me from helping others. I can see them trying to trap somebody, and I'm going to help them. Why? Because it was done. Well, first of all, even if it wasn't, my heart would have been doing it. But, I mean, I know what it's like. But, you know, I still got to give it to God, the Most High. Because some of these same people that he's allowed me to help turn around and stab me in my back trying to get my job. And the thing is, what I love is I know who you are. I know exactly who you are. He has shown me. He always shows me. He shows me my enemies. He shows me the plots and their plans. See, I don't know what kind of relationship you have. See, I'm not going to get into all that. But as a child, the Most High has always talked to me. I don't deal with religion. I deal with relationship and what I hear and who I hear. Not only do I hear, I see here. Not here, but here. That's something man cannot detect. I don't care. It's not even in the DNA. You can't do that. So you can get me, you can kidnap me, you can try to clone me, you ain't gonna be able to get that. Because it comes from the Most High. I can't tell you from the next day what's gonna happen. When he tells me to do something, I'm gone. Because my loyalty is definitely, first of all, lie to the Most High. That you can believe. After all of this, with all these people, I don't trust nobody. Not even my kids. Period. This matrix has really ruined the people in this world. Yeah. And they've allowed it. They don't even, I really don't think people want to know who they are. They just want to mimic off of whoever. That's got to be sad. Going to church, I was like, there's got to be more to it than this. What's going on? Praying from a man. When the word tells you, when we read, he'll have no other God before a man. You don't put man before the Most High. But yet and still, we putting this man before him. What now? It's so much contradictory. See, when man does it, there's always errors. But it's up to us to investigate. It's up to you. You ain't got to take what I say. You don't want it? Tune off. Close it down. Tune out. Because it is what it is. It's going to be flaws. You're going to either look and search within study for yourself or be a puppet. It's as simple as that. The wives can be the husband's puppet. The husbands can be the wife's puppet. The children could be the whatever, social media puppet, you know. All because you ain't trying to find out who you are. This goes for the government, all of this. People head on your jobs, all of this. Who are their puppeteers? Do they have one? Do you have one? Are you scared? Are we fearful of people? Why? When you have what's inside you. I'm not understanding that. Fear is a weapon from the enemy. We should fear no one and nothing. We should go within and the Creator within us that has given us, He's given us a plan. But we get frustrated with, I'm going to lose. What now? Who gave you that job? Who gave you the house? Who gave you the car? Who supplied your means of paying for your rent, your mortgage, your car payment? You think it's man? No. Whoever owned the business, the Creator gave them the ability to do that too. They just don't acknowledge it. That's on them. But I guarantee you one thing, and that's for all of us. What you got, what I'm talking about, all this right here, all of this. You can't take none of that with you. Not a bit. So I know that you're talking about you high and mighty and this and that for what? Because when you gone, who gonna take it? You ain't taking it with you. So why are we hating one another? Why are we envying one another? Why? Why are we trying to outdo one another? Why? Do you ask yourself that? Can you just, I don't like her. I don't like him. She smiles too much. She thinks she, or he thinks he, what? When you got people out here homeless, dying, diseased, children placing the parents in the nursing home because they don't want to have anything to do with them. But I guarantee they got the money. They want the will. Read to and the property given to them. I guarantee you that. So let me tell you something, parents. Don't think those that you think gonna take care of you. All right, you in for a surprise. There's very little of them. You better know who you are. My advice, let me tell you something. You can't trust anybody but yourself. And the Most High for giving you direction. That is the best place that you could put yourself in. Not in where there's certain things you cannot. Just put it like that. I don't care who it is. And you got to be connected. You have to have discernment. And that discernment don't come from here. It comes from here. The pineal gland. The third eye. See, the Matrix don't want you to know about none of that spiritual stuff. They don't want you to know about none of that. But once you get in tune and become aware, oh, you'll start researching. And you'll start seeing the stuff like, oh my God, look at this. Oh, this stuff is real. It's real. And it's all around us. And like I said, I'm never alone. Where I am now is what you call isolation, but it's called detox. I'm detoxing from matrix system. Period. Newness. I'm no longer the Juanita at all. At all. I have an assignment. I have a purpose. The Most High and my divine ancestors are talking to me and allowing me to break that generational cycle. Period. I didn't ask for this. They chose me. The black sheep. But it's not me. Just remember that. I take no credit. I don't even know what I'm doing. Matter of fact, my mouth moving, but they talking. I take no credit for the conversation. None whatsoever. I'm going to be me. I'm going to do me. And like I said, for those that don't like that, you can just turn off. I'm not reading the comments. I'm not even responding to comments. You know what I'm doing? I'm being obedient. And I hope that one day it'll help someone. Period. It's not here. I'm not here for brownie points, validation, hyper ups, or whatever this stuff is y'all doing. I don't know. I just want for us, for those that are asleep, to be awakened by truth and act upon it. Receive what you see, meaning look at it, but look at it within. Find the root of the problem. Embrace the truth, because the truth is what's going to set you free now. So many times we don't want to face the truth, and you know what happens with that? How we don't face it? Through alcoholism, through drug, overworking, sex, anything and overs that we don't want to, that we don't have to deal with the truth. Then what? But the problem, the root is still there. It ain't hard. Counselors tell you, write it down. What? Write what down? Get to the root. Get by yourself. You can write it down then when you have no distraction. Then look at it. That's that man in the mirror. That's that woman in the mirror. That's that child in the mirror. Look at you. And what do you see? And whatever you see, embrace it. Now deal with it. Now make a choice. Make a choice. You're going to either live or you're going to either die. That choice is totally up to you. I'm going to close on that. Y'all have a wonderful evening. Bye for now. Love you.